Welcome to Straight Outta Savannah, where the magic happens. And my guest, Nancy Smith, is here. She's going to tell you a little bit about who she is and what she does and how she can be of assistance to you. So, Nancy, take it away.
Oh, thanks, Tammy. So nice to be on your show, your podcast. You were just on my podcast not that long ago. We had so much fun,
So
and
much fun.
it was great. And so, what do I do, and how do I help people? So I'm an ordained minister. That's a title that goes with doing my mediumship. So I'm a certified medium, and I do spirit art. That's not all that I do, but I do prove the continuity of life by talking to loved ones. I also help. It's a good tool for grief or reconnecting after a loss that you kind of felt betrayed or your world blew up a little bit outside of normal and you're not quite sure what to do, where to go, and that's me. Along with the mediumship, I work with the Akashic records and your soul, my soul, and the beautiful energy of the creator source. And together, my whole thing is about connecting to source because the soul always knows what to do. The soul always knows what you need to heal, and the reconnection is actually the healing. That is what I do, and that's how I help people. There's a lot of different ways that I do it. I just finished a grief education program. Was really excited to have a little bit more words around grief than I had before. But in mediumship, it's so many layers and stages of grief and understanding about life, and then um, how to how to how to be happy in your life, how to create what you really want in your life. Um,
Absolutely. And how did you get to this path? I mean, what brought you to especially the mediumship, but also just being able to help women in this way?
well, here's the thing. I always had this gift of, since I was little, of knowing how people were feeling and what they were really thinking when they were saying what they were saying, which could run into a little bit of trouble when I'm younger and didn't have too many
Yes,
boundaries.
I could see
But
that.
but so I didn't even know what mediumship was until my 30s. I knew that when my grandma passed, and when I was 18, and she had been sick for a while. And when she passed, I was watching my siblings. I wasn't with her. I really wanted to be with her. And the whole, in the midst of everyone arguing and trying to get dinner on the table, trying to get cleaned up, I'm oldest of nine. Suddenly, the whole house got calm, peaceful, and quiet. And it's like somebody put yellow filters or gold filters on the lights. It just got very warm and loving. And
Mm.
just stopped what I was doing and I felt, Grandma just passed. Grandma's here, not knowing anything about this. And I called my cousin and said, Grandma passed. He goes, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I said, oh, he goes, you didn't know, did you? I said, I felt it. And he said, woo. It's like, okay, I'm done.
Right.
And but the thing with that was about being close to my grandmother,
Mm.
that connection, that healing, that because the feeling that I got
Yeah.
was this calm peace and healing. So I never connected mediumship with being in front of people and giving messages, which is what I do now. And then as I moved forward, it was I just was really involved in hands-on healing with the Catholic Charismatic group. That's why we're so similar. We had those dealings,
Yes.
yeah, and it wasn't born again Christian, but it was real close to that. Pentecostal,
Mm-hmm.
it was more like the Catholics version of it because
Mm-hmm.
we were Catholic, and my mom said I could go if it had Catholic in it. But they taught us how to speak in tongues. They taught us how to do hands-on healing. They taught us how to um, just really connect with. I could just slip open the Bible and then take a passage and explain what it meant
Yes.
as opposed to just taking it literal. And
Yes.
that was kind of fun. And that was my understanding of God and the connection and the love, and then the progression that we're being asked to do while we're alive. So having that background, when I came into a mediumship situation and I had to go find out. I was having lots and lots of visions. And I was also seeing people. My friend, a good friend, her brother-in-law was shot and killed in a robbery.
Oh, wow.
And it was just, she's my daycare provider, and it was devastating for the whole family. And at some point, he was in a car where the robbery happened, so the car was shot up, and they kept it, they impounded it, the police impounded it for a while, and they brought it back. And she asked me to help her clean it out. She was just in tears. So, did not know about that touching things. Spirit talks to you. I'm cleaning out the car and I'm getting all this information, and I felt like my head was going to explode carrying boxes upstairs and go home, and I can't sleep because of all the voices in my head. And more than that, the pictures in my head. So
Mm,
I put had my I was went to art school, was a graphic designer. One of the things that I did was study anatomy and drawing, and I was doing a little side hustle to do my friends' portraits of their kids. So
mhm,
I started to draw. I had my sketch pad out, and I was starting to do a job, and this face came up off the page, and I said, well, what the heck is that? And I was thinking about my friend, but I really wanted to do my job. But
mhm.
so I started to just sketch the face um, that was coming up off of the page. And then I turned the page, and then another face came up. I did five faces.
Wow.
And a couple of them were people that he missed and he was sad and wanted to connect with and look a lot like his dad. And then another one, I didn't know who these were. And she reckoned my friend. I took these drawings. I said, something crazy is happening to me. But your brother-in-law is showing me all these faces. I somehow got the connection that it was him talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's looking at these drawings. She goes, that's my dad. And then that's my father-in-law. And then she says, that this guy just came to the house today. He rang the bell, and I know he's the one that shot him. I know. And it was, again, I realized that I could draw the last face a person saw before they
Mm.
passed, which
Wow.
is pretty intense.
That
And
is
so
very.
I just wrote down all the things that I was hearing in the head, the whole movie, the whole story. And then with the drawings, I gave them to the police, who kept them for quite a while. And one thing to learn is that you never get feedback from the police if you give them some psychic information. They'll look at it and play with it, but I did not know how to present anything. I didn't know what to do. So I had to find out what it was. So that's when I started to do some um, investigation of my own, taking some classes. I found out to study this stuff was very expensive, and I didn't have two nickels to rub together. So I very slowly got myself involved in understanding what was psychic, what was mediumship, what was intuitive stuff. And so I kind of came into that the slow, slow way. Um, and eventually went and started to study mediumship through spiritualist churches because that's who had the most teachers. And they also seemed connected to a high level of integrity.
Yes. Yes.
And so I kind of wanted that rather than just a willy-nilly kind of. I wanted to have somebody tell me, go study with her. She knows what she's doing. So anyway, I developed the mediumship, but I have to say, I did not have support or help with the visions that I have. As I also have visions of things big, when big things are to come, I can envision them, and they just show like a movie in front of me. And 9 times out of 10, they're pretty spot on.
Yes.
And that is a interesting pathway that I have been on, and really kind of curious about what are these visions for? What do I do with them? Some are scary, some are exciting, some are fun, some are like I feel driven towards doing something with them. And so then I began to explore, what does the spiritual path mean? What does it mean when you're talking to that higher power? How do you discern it? How do you interpret it? And then from there, I was like, what does my soul want me to do? And then I got into healing. I love healing. First, we started with the Reiki, then we started with hands-on healing, which from back in the day. And it seems to all be coming together right now in
Yes.
one big package. Did I tell
Yes.
you? Yeah, so there's kind of a lot, there's way more to that story, but that wasn't too long to be telling you. but this is where it all came from. I didn't go after it; it came after me.
See,
And
and
that I hear people say that sometimes. Yeah, no, it came after me. It didn't, the thing that happened wasn't necessarily somebody passed or somebody or an event. It was that spirit was talking to me, and he needed to explore what were these voices in my head. Why was seeing all these crazy movies that were coming true? But
I agree completely. All of that. I mean, like you said, we are such a mirror because all of that. Because I actually fought that type of thing because I said, I don't want to do it, because I saw the toll
ah,
that
I
being
can
that
relate
person
to
took on my
that.
grandmother.
Yeah, I could
And I was
totally relate
like,
to that.
I felt like if people hadn't pulled on her so, that she would have still been here, even though she'd be over
Oh,
100 now. But I did.
yeah.
I felt like people just pulled and they
Oh, in
sucked
her.
and they
Yeah.
drained her. And that
Yeah.
was how I felt about it. And so when I started feeling all of these things like you and getting the
Yeah.
call and saying,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is where you need to, this is the direction to go into right now,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And at one time I thought I was being called to be a pastor. And I
Oh,
said,
did you? Yeah.
absolutely not. I
Because
said,
you didn't want to follow in her
no.
exhaustion, her
Mm-mm.
footsteps of exhaustion.
No, no, no.
Although talked about her, she sounds like a saint.
Well,
She
she
sounds
was
like,
amazing. She was a
yeah,
beautiful woman.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, when you're in that energy and in that space, where else you gonna go? Because it's not everybody that can do this work at these levels.
Well,
I
that's
believe
true.
that everyone
Yeah,
has
yeah,
gifts
yeah,
and
yeah,
everyone can
absolutely.
sense all of these things. A lot of people, see spirits and stuff like that, but to
Well,
be
that's
able
the
to
thing.
operate on the
Yeah,
levels.
yeah, yeah. Well, I tell you, it's my dad's architect. He always said it's 90% perspiration and 10% talent.
Mhm,
It's
okay, I can see
kind
that.
of true about
Hmm.
spiritual path. But in my world, in your world, these gifts just come and they're amazing, but there needs to be training and there needs to be a spiritual path to put them all
Yes.
together. And that's what I teach mostly to people. They want to learn mediumship or they want to learn this or that, um, or they want to have the cheat codes for life. And which I wish I could write a book of cheat codes. I am going to do that someday. But I really
I was
feel
gonna
that
say you could. What's stopping you?
I'm going to, I'm just going to title it Spiritual Cheat Codes. Woo! But
Yes.
you do need to have that spiritual path, which is really about connecting to your own divinity and your
Yes.
soul and the message. And I guess the mission, message, and the learning that your soul is asking you to do while
Yes.
you're alive, where this is such a temporary situation. Our lives are short and sweet and feels like they're going to last forever, but they don't. And we go back to home, we go back to soul, we go back to spirit. And then, what did you learn? Here's all these things that look what I discovered. Look at what's going on over here. And that's the most important thing about life is curiosity, love, connection, and appreciating what life's all about.
Yes.
Um, anyway, I hope that
I,
that
I
makes
I
sense.
was gonna say I agree completely. So I have a question. Mediumship often bridges the seen and the unseen.
Yes.
So how does that bridge shift or deepen for women when they're in midlife and they're reinventing themselves?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. I feel there's something mystical. I think I think it's kind of going along with your hormones, maybe. But there's something when you hit the age of 50 that many women, I'm not saying you aren't gifted and you can't use your gifts, but there's something that happens at that kind of time of menopause kind of where you're in women, you asked me specifically women, where you're freed up or there's something that you're letting go of. There's and you have stepped into fully who you are. You're not running around serving and being a vessel as more as you're becoming to who you really are, where your gifts are, and the vessel that you become is your containers, your soul, and the mystical part of it. Um, mystical part of creation, understanding a connection to source and manifesting really comes at that time. Around your 50s, 60s, late 40s. I know so many students when I went into learning of mediumship and stuff, women are around that age. Unless there's a really amazing gift that comes on early on. It's that stepping into that, I don't want to say the word crone, but you're stepping into
Hey,
the
I mean, it
wise
is.
woman.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
and I I'm sure there's a whole big conversation about what is going on with men, but I feel like with women there's a very profound change that happens within every woman during this thing called life, whether it's surgically enhanced because the uterus isn't working so good, or it's or it's natural. There is a shift where you see life differently. And sometimes you're looking for what the heck's going on and what's the shift and what more is there, or and sometimes you're ready for it.
I completely and totally agree with that. That was a shift for me. I mean, and I expected it, but I don't think many women do. I expected it
Yeah.
because I realized for me, every decade I shift.
Well, yes. Every
And I don't,
decade has a yes.
yeah, every
And we
decade, and
need
I've
women.
watched it. So I expected it to come. Now did I expect it to be this intense? No, not really.
Oh, do we sign up for this now? Yeah, yeah. But there's a beauty in well, a lot of times you go through the hormonal changes, and then
Mhm.
there's the physical and the physical, hormonal, mental, emotional. They all kind of segue together into sometimes for some women a hot mess. And if you can embrace it and ask, who am I throughout all of this, and allow the old life to slough away and the new life to come forward, you'll find miracles. You'll find a mirror into who you really are in your
Yes,
powerful self. So
yes,
I really recommend looking at it from another perspective
yes,
when you're struggling with the change of life.
yes, yes. It really is. It's like I look at that in the same way that I looked at long COVID. For
Mhm.
me, it was a gift because it brought with it the patience that I needed. It brought with it the slowdown that I needed.
Mhm.
It brought the presence that I required.
Yeah.
And so I look at that and I look at menopause in much the same way, although if I knew what I know now, I would have skipped it,
Yeah.
but I didn't know because nobody told us, nobody talked about it.
Oh no.
Nobody
Yeah.
shared, even the older people, they really
Yeah.
didn't share much,
Yeah.
not to the extent that I think we
Yeah.
need to talk about it. Nobody
Well,
told
yeah.
you that, you was gonna have issues with your lady bits. Nobody told you that. Nobody said
And
that.
what
I
that's
heard,
gonna mean and what that's gonna mean to you.
right.
Yeah.
Nobody said any of that. Nobody, I mean, they just talked about the hot flashes, but I had those when I was in my 30s because I did Depo-Lupron and that put you in pseudomenopause.
Oh.
And the only thing that I had was the hot flashes. None of the other stuff. I was good with everything else. But the hot flashes was trying to take me
Mhm.
off this planet. It was so
I
bad.
know. Yeah, I'm so
But
sorry.
yeah, so that was it. So I feel like if they started talking about it before now, now Halle Berry started talking about it and what's her name? What's that child's name? I think Drew Barrymore and Brooke Shields,
Oh,
some other people have started talking about it
they're
and
not afraid of it anymore.
right.
They're not. I love that. I love that they're not. I'm not getting old. It's just like this is a life change, and stop measuring. There was a huge. Well, I'm going to just jump in and throw a monkey wrench in here, but um, postnatal depression
Yes.
is another thing that's being talked about coming out
It
where
needs to
people.
be.
Oh,
Because I know I was
absolutely.
crazy after one of my babies. I
Yeah.
think the one I almost
Yeah.
died with. I was,
Oh, yeah.
I was so
Yeah.
crazy and depressed. And, you know,
Yeah.
I realize now looking back, when I sat down and reflected, but
Yeah.
going through it, I didn't know. I was 22
I
years
know.
old.
I know. I
I didn't
know.
know.
Well, I think that that's another coming of age of its own sort. And but hormonally, we don't have a village anymore. And this speaks to whatever coming of age you're coming to.
Yes.
And we don't have a village anymore. And I have gone through a lot of things, and so have you, because of our age, that are huge, momentous,
Yes.
brings you to your knees, and you're thinking, what on earth? And you're alone with it.
Yes.
You don't even if you mention it, even if you mention it to other women, sometimes they'll get there's this criticism. There's like, what's wrong with you? And
Judgment,
mm-hmm,
hate, all these things.
mm-hmm,
You're right. And it's like
yeah,
I used to sing that song Alone Again Naturally.
yeah. Oh, that so breaks my heart. But no, I hear you because it was this loneliness that we feel as women going through all of these big changes doesn't necessarily need to be this way.
Right.
I feel that we weren't always like this. I feel that probably the Industrial Revolution, when we left the farms and went into the cities and and people were isolated from one another, and then post World War One, post World War Two, the family unit became this unit of just mom, dad, and kids. It's not meant to be that way.
It's
And
really not, but it just
no,
it's like, how do we shift that?
I don't know.
And it's
I don't know.
even different cultures, I noticed.
Yeah.
Because some cultures used to certain cultures they would bring the grandparents or they would all live in one house.
Yeah, right.
They got
Multi
married and they have everybody have their rooms or
multi
whatever.
generations under one roof.
Yes,
I'm wondering if that isn't going to come back naturally because of how expensive housing is.
I
And
think
if that is
it is.
right. Yeah.
Because I seen actually two families where I live, they're doing it. And I live in a retirement community. But there's
Really.
there's like the families and then the parents. And they all live in like a big house, or either what they did, I noticed one family they had like the family lived in the big house, and then there was a smaller house where like the parents lived, but they were all on the same lot.
I love that. I
And I
love
was
that.
like, wow, that's pretty neat. That way
I
everybody
love
had
that.
their
Yeah.
privacy, but they were still together.
Yeah. One thing I've been noticing, have you noticed this? And I moved out since then, but for about 5, 6 years, I moved into an over 55 community. And there was a number of incidences where the children would move into their elderly parents. They were aging in place. The condo had everything they needed, grab bars, whatever, handicap stuff. And but if your parents died before you were 55, the community threw you out. That
Oh,
you have
yes,
6 months to
yes,
leave. And
yes,
I was shocked. I said, this man just spent 3 years giving up his whole life in his home, being with. So there's that situation, which led me to look at and I get a lot of clients like this. They're taking care of their elderly parents. They're the only one in the family doing it. So either they've
yep,
moved in with the parents or they've given up a certain part of their life. Then the parents pass and the whole family wants to split everything equally up and they have to get out of the house and sell it, but they haven't built the structure that all the other siblings have built for their retirement. They have to start all over again.
yes,
And um, I am just shocked at how deep that goes. The parent wouldn't have made it. There would have been no quality of living. Well, the parent wanted to stay home. I'm not talking about, I mean, I don't know what the quality of living was. I'm just assuming that they were happy living at
yeah, yeah,
home
yeah,
while the child, the adult child, and the families were saying, well, you just lived off of mom and dad. And I'm like, is that the excuse? And
Can't.
I have a couple of friends whose parents are up in their 90s. Again, they're not well, they're getting up there. And one of couple of them have said this, I can't do this anymore. I'm broke. And there's no resources. I don't know what to do. I've blown through my retirement help, mom and dad. I said, well, why isn't mom and dad using their retirement to support you to, I don't under, well, they can't. And I'm like, why can't they? And you know what I'm saying? It's the mindset. We went into this after the Industrial Revolution and neighborhoods and 2.3 kids or whatever, and a car in the, we became very individualized. So
Yeah.
when a family needed a person to go back to that family and have it the old way, they still remained isolated. They still remained this individual where everyone wanted a piece of the pie, and they weren't seeing it. This is a village coming together to take care of. And breaks my heart because these are the kids that really love their pay. I don't know when I'm getting old and daughterly, I don't even know what on earth who's good. Do I even want to ask anyone to take care of me because of the big, it's, they don't feel like it's a sacrifice at the time, but it's a huge sacrifice. So I have a couple of friends who are in the middle of this saying, I know that there's a few more years left of my dad, but this is killing me.
Yeah.
And I don't see much coming my way, and I can see the end of what this is going to look like. I can't get dad to sign the house off to me, or I can't, you know what I mean? I can't get, so I have to leave. And so they leave the parent high and dry, the aging parent high and dry, because they have no resources left. And I know that there's a lot of elderly that don't have resources to begin with, very much. And I'm just saying that because I think the it's at a critical point because the baby boomers are all getting older and they're in there. I think I'm at the tail end of that baby boomers. So um, I don't know what my kids are going to do, but I better have a good plan. But what I'm making a joke out of that, but I see the 50 somethings and the 60 something taking care of those aging baby boomers, and there's no plan. So it's at a crisis because there's so many elderly
I
right
was
now.
gonna say, and the thing is, so I've worked in nursing homes, and what I noticed over the last few years is that people that never put their people in homes before are putting their people in homes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never. I mean, different cultures. Like you never used to see any Asian people
Yeah.
in the homes.
Oh,
If
I
they were in the
know.
homes, they were
Yeah.
real bad. Like
Yeah.
dementia where they were running away from home
Yeah. Well,
and
they
couldn't.
needed more care than the
Right,
family
they
could
couldn't
get. Right.
control them. And so, but
Yeah.
you would never see that. Them,
Oh,
I noticed a lot of the Middle Easterns, you wouldn't see them with their people in the homes.
no. No.
You wouldn't see the Africans, you wouldn't see them with their people in the homes.
Yeah. Well,
But now
yeah.
everybody is putting their people in homes.
Yeah.
And I don't really don't like that.
It's very expensive to put them in home, but
Not
the
only that,
resources,
they
yeah,
don't get the care a lot of times that they really
that family
need
would
because
give.
they can't do but so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got in the daytime, you got 25 residents. You can't do but so much.
No, you're alone. You're
You know,
isolated. You stay as a residence. Just the worst, the squeaky wheel gets the grease,
degree
and no matter.
exactly. And it's like, okay, so you think about that and you're like, okay, so how can we restore these villages?
That's a good question. I was watching a friend of mine, her grandmother. Oh, but nobody can recognize this story. But anyway, it's gotten too. She's in assisted living, and there's a lot of rules. My parents were in assisted living. My mom was paraplegic, and so we went through all this, and um, there's a good reason why they were in assisted living, and it was a better, safer place for them. And they were very stubborn, wanting to live alone, not wanting to ask for anything.
Hmm.
Having said that, um, the rules are that if you get to a certain point, you have to move to another aspect of the assisted
Yep.
living. So her grandmother had gotten to that point, but they didn't have another place for her to move to, nor did she have the resources to stay in the state that she was in. So it's heartbreaking, and
It really is. It
they
really is.
wouldn't if the doctor had said you're a hospice patient, she would have had the place to go. But she said she's not that far gone to be called hospice. And I'm like, you're 96 years old. You can't call it
And
hospice?
that's a bunch of bull because I
Yeah.
worked hospice too. And we had people on hospice for, dare I say, years.
Yes. No,
Some of them
absolutely.
they were just as quick close to dying as you or me. Just not even, it was
But they
ridiculous. But
can't do self-care. And
you have to certify them properly. That is how that goes.
yeah. So
That's
so
what
so
yeah.
So in
Check the
any
right
event,
boxes.
she was not accepted. She was thrown out of where she was because of what things changed. And so and I've seen this happen often enough. Not an expert at it, but my heart breaks. I don't know
Yes.
where we're going with this, but I think we need to shift it. I think our communities need to change, but so they're out of money, they're out of time, and they can't stay where they are. So here they are, confused, not feeling so well, and I know at
Homeless,
least
basically.
three moved hundreds of miles to a different state,
Wow.
and it's tragic.
Yes.
I feel it's not a good system,
Mm-mm.
and we have changed our family values. Here we're in another millennium, and these
Absolutely.
feelings keep. But when I look at the resources and how they're changing, it just makes me think. I wonder if some of this struggle isn't forcing a change for the better.
Yes, I agree with that.
But
Because
can that?
change is hard and changes there has to be some type of catalyst for change.
Well, it does. And again, necessity is the mother of invention. So we need to be suffering and struggling and say there's got to be a better way. So
Yes.
and when we're doing good or feeling okay, that we don't go, there's got to be a better way.
No.
We just,
You just
so,
keep on going status quo and
yeah,
some of it needs to change. Now,
yeah.
do I agree with methods? No, but
But
some of it needs to change and that's where we're going to be. So, we're going to land this plane. I have one last question that I ask all of my guests. If there was anything in the world that you could change, what would that be and why?
well, that's so funny. You asked me that question at the beginning and said, think about it. And like now we're talking about all this stuff. And I said, really under women's health, understanding women's health
Yes.
has been in the old times when they had the midwives. My great grandmother's a midwife, and she was shut down. And when you had the healers and the midwives, they understood how people were, women and children, and that has been over the past 100 years, maybe a little more,
Mhm.
has been wiped out. As we talked about the breakdown of the family, it's also the breakdown of women and children's health. And I've been reading a number of books on misdiagnosing women's illnesses and treating them improperly and then calling them crazy
Yeah.
or yeah, and I feel women have the highest level of intuition. Women really get how life works, and when you shut women down and you kind of force them to fit into,
Yes.
um, we talked about it on my podcast. We were talking about now we fit into a slot or fit
Hmm.
into here's how a
Yeah.
successful woman will be or here's how it looks. Your grandmother had it right. She says, "Nah, there's something else going on here." If we could open up to women's health, to women's wisdom,
Yes.
and really see what it takes to
Yes.
mm, keep to keep a woman healthy really keeps the world healthy.
Yes.
And I really want to see women have more of a voice in some of these societal decisions
Mhm.
because decisions are being made by men
Yeah.
or men in power or women
Yes.
agreeing with the men in power. And I feel
Mhm.
like that is if I tell you what, if that could change, the world will change to be a much better place.
Yes, it will. And we have to hold out hope. I know I do. I I am not sure if I will see it in my lifetime, but I'm sure that it will come.
Yeah. You know, I think you'll see it in your family structure in your lifetime. So one-on-one, small, and let it trickle out. But it was there before. It was
Yes.
taken away. It'll
Yes.
go. But I think talking about this interesting. I didn't never dreamed that we would be talking about this on this podcast. But the but the women's wisdom, the magic within a woman, the understanding of how life works when you really get to that connection within yourself.
Yes.
That is precious.
Yeah. It
I
really is.
yeah
It really is. It's like I think that if the world could experience that on a global scale,
yeah.
like if somehow we could I don't even know how that would work, but it just feels like something almost like I think of something like We Are the World.
Yeah,
You remember when they did that? It
I do.
was
I
phenomenal.
put tears in my eyes and listening to it over and over
Yeah,
again.
yes. If we could
But
do that for women, and if we can, I feel that if we can bring women together, and stop all this, fighting and backbiting and, this woman
yeah,
against that woman and, this
yeah.
culture, that culture, all that. Stop it.
I would love
Because
to
women
see.
are the
Yeah,
same. I mean, we're
yeah.
the same all over the globe.
Wouldn't it be amazing to have women come together from different cultures and say, here's our culture does it, and here's how we've been changed into this culture, and what's working, what's not working, what can we bring back? Oh my gosh,
I
women talking
like
to
a
each other.
symposium would be great for that, right?
Yeah, women talking to each other.
I'm going to speak it out into the universe
There you
so
go.
that somebody creates a symposium for women
Yeah,
to
women and
come
their
together at
intuition,
different,
healing
yes,
abilities,
the magic that we have, that we
compassion.
are.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to speak
What?
that out into the universe because I am not that type of, I'm not a coordinator. Just not in my design. It's not,
Yeah.
I'm not even a planner. I'm not that kind of person. It just doesn't work out for me. So I don't even do that. So I speak it out into the universe and I'll help. I will
Cool.
assist. So, so if anybody wants to do a symposium for women so that we can come and, share and show our magic, support one another.
Yes, absolutely. That would
Yeah.
be fantastic.
Yes.
Give other women permission to
Yes.
step in to the child, the younger woman, and then the child-rearing woman,
Yes.
and then the empty nester, and then the wise woman. All of it, every single bit of it has precious wisdom. And
Yes. Every single bit. And it's like, for me, I feel like every decade I have changed. Every decade, I look
yeah,
back on it and not only have I changed, but my hair's changed,
I know.
my
Yeah.
sizes changed, you know what I mean? But
Oh
every
yeah. Yeah.
decade, I can see the shift, and when 50 hit, it was like, wow. It was almost
Yeah.
like, bam,
I know.
you are here, this is where you're supposed to be. But and
Yeah.
I believe that that is the shift, that women require.
I think so.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
so.
men shift as well, but I
Yeah.
don't think that they even realize, that they shift. A
Well,
lot of them.
well, not wanting to take anything away from men, men need to get to their own inner wisdom self. But and I feel that going through menopause or going through these big structural body changes may call a woman to in more harshly to go deeply. But men don't necessarily get those calls to go. Although I think I'd love to take a look at it, talk to a man, say, so are you the same now and you're 30? How do you feel about that now that you're 60? What's the
Exactly.
wisdom from that? And the other thing is not caring for our elderly is we miss the stories, miss the teaching. We mi They still have dreams. I mean, I'm looking at how old I am, and every once in a while my kids will start telling me, "Mom," and they want to tell me what to do because I'm old, I don't know anything, and I want to kind of strangle them, but I'd love to tell them my stories. I have so many stories that I have not said or shared. I don't think they're really interested, but what if they were? And
Right.
sometimes it's the kids that I get interested. It's
I
like,
was gonna say, I'm telling you, I think about that. My grands, those were my people.
yeah,
I
yeah,
learned a lot of the stories that a lot of people in my family didn't know because
from
I
your
was there with them
grandparents.
listening,
Yeah, yeah.
because I was always around old people.
Well, I know,
So it
I
was like,
get it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I think about that, but you're right. Because
yeah,
actually my husband and I were talking about that, and I said I need to call my grandma and get some of the stories from her, before she's gone,
yeah. I
because
know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I don't know and I would like to know,
Yeah, my
and
last
figure it out.
grandparent left when I was 18, so
Wow.
I wasn't smart enough to. Was asking a lot of questions from an 18-year-old perspective,
Right.
but I would have loved to have had those talks.
Yeah. See, we don't often value them, and this generation really doesn't because a lot of them didn't have a village like were talking about.
Well, that's
They
true.
didn't have a village, or they,
Yeah,
like me, I created my villages because I knew I
yeah,
needed one.
yeah.
And I wasn't,
Um,
I wasn't around family when my kids were growing up mostly because we
well,
were
that's
gone. And so I created villages. I had friends that, some that had kids around the same age and they would pick them or drop them. Like I had to go to work and I would drop them off and I said, "Can you drop them home?" That sort of thing.
yeah.
And
Well,
you need
it's
that.
great you were able to pull that together. I remember as a single mom, I had a heck of a time pulling that stuff together. It was if she's, I'm at work, she's gonna go to ballet with can you help get her there, bring her home? Oh, I'm too busy. And then I would hire a driver, would never get her there on time. Well, I don't know if she can play. I don't know if we can let her keep doing this ballet if she's not getting here on time. And I remember being just beside myself on how alone I felt because I was divorced with the kids, and we need to change that where we're helping each other. If well, why'd you divorce them? Well, there was a lot of really good reasons, and they're much better off
I mean, but
without
what
us
difference does
being.
that make anyway? It's
It's not
already
anything.
done.
Yeah,
Done.
yeah.
It's
But
like, no, I mean, and you don't get to blame me.
exactly. But
That's
the
the thing. And we don't have to accept it. This is the thing, y'all, that I talk about in my workshop, my monthly workshop. I talk about this because you don't have to accept that because we've been
Mhm.
conditioned this way. But you
Yeah.
don't have to. You can
Right.
revoke your
Yeah.
permission. The name
Well,
of it
that's
is
how we change
permission
things.
revoked.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how we
And
change
and
things.
it's
Yeah.
all in our bodies too. That's the thing also that a
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize. So shaking your tail feather is a real thing.
It is an
Moving your
important
body,
thing.
it's an
Yeah.
important thing. Moving your body because these things are stuck and stored in our bodies and in
Yeah.
our nervous system,
Yeah.
and we never get them out. And then what happens? They start causing dis-ease,
Well, that's true. Yeah.
irritable bowel, gut issues, what are the other things? Big
Well,
C,
kidneys failed, diabetes, swelling, dementia,
all of these things,
as
because we got all
living
this
in an
crap
out of balance
stuck.
society where we're trying to fit it and make it work.
Hmm.
Um, and then, yeah, you're doing a great work with women. You're doing great work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody has to do it is the way I look at it. Because to be
Yeah.
honest with you, I really wasn't feeling this, but when these things started opening up to me and God started just showing me, about the people pleasing, because that thing hit
Yeah.
me, because I didn't
Yeah.
think
Oh,
I was
that's
that.
Toxic,
I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not a people pleaser. Hell, I'm a Scorpio. Fuck that, But yeah, when I started seeing all that and I started, being shown the patterns and all of that, and then what you needed to do and where it was stored even sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you got that. Okay, that's why you're dealing with that, throat issue, or that's why
Right,
you're dealing with
right,
that
right.
gut issue, or, that's
Yeah.
why you're dealing with that
Yeah. Yeah.
autoimmune
Yeah.
response, the fibromyalgia and the, rheumatoid arthritis and all these other things.
All of that. But yeah, I totally feel you on that one. Um, Had a thought go in my head now really fast. But but, the yes, this was it was the fight or flight, the cortisol and all that. And it was updated. And I've been reading about it. They updated. It's not just fight or flight. It's about freeze
And fawn.
and fawn. And then there's another one called flop, where you just
Yes, yes. Freeze, fawn, and
you're
fly. Yep, yep. Like
and
basketball players.
what I really saw that, and I had been missing this for a long time, that the need to be a people pleaser comes from fear.
Yes.
Deep, deep, you're in this constant fear. And
So y'all, she's
and
talking about my playlist on YouTube.
yeah, so
All of that
yeah,
is in there.
yeah,
It is on my
yeah,
channel,
it's
you
yeah.
Intuitive Tammy.
So getting past the people pleasing is about facing your fears
Yes.
and just really facing that tiger or that lion that's going to eat you up or eat your kids
Yeah.
or the starvation that you're afraid of. Gosh, you know how many all those years when you couldn't women couldn't own property and their husbands would die and then the family would decide, even though they're living in a nice home and they had money, they couldn't own anything, so it could all be taken away from them when their
Yes.
husband passed. And so starvation is a real thing, and playing the game. What we've done to each other, what humanity has done to women and each other, men and women, is it's going to take focus to
Yes.
change it. We're in a better
Focus,
place. Yeah. I
presence,
mean,
patience.
we're definitely not in the Victorian age anymore, but on the other hand, there's always somebody who wants it to slip back to that. So we
Mm-hmm.
stay on top of that, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to just keep being present
Hmm.
in our lives and in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I feel.
And
So,
it's your soul and your spirit. Your soul and your spirit help you get through it. It helps you see it, helps you call it, and helps you to get past the fear. That's a spiritual soul healing.
yes,
Wanted to throw
yes,
that in there. But yeah.
absolutely. So, this has been such an amazing, amazing time. And I really don't even know where we went, but it was so beautiful.
I know yeah, it was good.
It was
Something that needed to be
dynamic.
said. All right.
Yes, and I'm so excited that you decided to take me up on my opportunity and come and join us today. So if you've gotten anything out of this, ladies and gentlemen, I would love it if you would comment and also like, share, and subscribe and download wherever it is that you are listening or watching this show. So again, Nancy has been amazing. All of her details will be in the show notes, so you can click her links so that you can connect with her, and she's going to share where is the best place to connect with her.
The best place to connect to me, two places. Website is angelscapes.net. You can find some free gifts on the website. Right there next to the book me is the free PDF, but I also have a Facebook group called Soul Power Living, How to Create the Life You Want and Love. And I'm pretty active in there, giving out ideas or protocols to follow. And there's a free training. If you join the group and you direct message me training, I'll send you the training for free.
That is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So there you have it, the best places to connect with Nancy. Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah. Bye now.